What is going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on a Monday afternoon. Got Howard Bender with me. I am Dan Servodidio. What's going on, Howard? How you doing, man?
Oh, dude, I gotta tell you, man, this was quite the NFL Week 14, and the best bets weren't all the best this time around. I mean, it feels like a 50-50 sort of a way. I got some, I have action on Monday Night Football. We got two games playing at the same time,
Yeah,
which I don't really understand. Like, do we really need that? I mean, I get, whatever, you know.
I don't think we do need it, to be honest.
I get it. I mean, I understand why they're doing. I mean, this is a network thing. This is ABC and Disney, and the NFL. Telling the NFL just put them on at the same time because we'd rather not have like half the audience over here, and who's not going to turn in there. You know what? Let's just get this block of time here. Put it on ABC. Put it on ESPN. Somebody's going to be watching our stuff no matter what. Like during that time frame.
Yeah, they're basically just dominating the night in sports, but in TV, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got two Monday night games to break down. We'll give out our bets and picks for both games: Packers, Giants, and Titans, Dolphins. Got to review how we did in Week 14, as you were saying. It wasn't all great, but as we do every Monday, we got to own our losses, brag about our wins. You got to do both here. So. Let's get it out of the way of our losses because to be honest, for my sake, on my picks, my game picks were not great. I went 0-4 with my game bets. You and me were both on the wrong side of the Colts one. Thought they should have won that game, but obviously, kind of early on, it was like, all right, this probably isn't going their way. So
you know what, man, that fluky 64-yard touchdown to Chris Brown, Chase Brown, whoever, whoever, Charlie Brown, whoever's coming out of the backfield for Cincinnati, like that was just, I mean, it was bad coverage and he's I got the ball in space and just, immediately took off. Like that's to me, that's a rarity. I think the dynamic of that game changes dramatically if that play doesn't happen. We have to watch Cincinnati go and grind down the field, then it's, whatever. But then it was like, then the Colts looked like a bunch of idiots out there with like making stupid mistakes and whatever. And before you knew it was like 14-0 Cincinnati. And so, because I mean, we both you had the Colts plus the points. I had the Colts money line. And I think I had Zach Moss's rushing yard prop, right? Again, another number that could have changed with the dynamic of the game, but it is what it is. We suck, and there you go. Where else did we suck today?
Well,
get this one out of the way, buddy. Get yours out of the way. I didn't wear this sweatshirt to troll you, but then I did remember that you did have the under in the Texans-Jets game, which I think I kind of agreed with you on.
Yeah, I didn't say the Jets would lose. I had the under, and honestly, it was only I think 5 or 6 points to the over in that game. So the Texans off. I was right about the Texans offense in that one. I thought they would struggle, and obviously C.J. Stroud going out obviously helps the Texans offense not putting up points. But Zach Wilson, man, this guy, he found something. He sat, he learned his lessons, he came back, and he was looking pretty good. He was looking decent there. So, yeah, congrats to your Jets pulling out the win. They're just, is Rodgers coming back? What's the deal with this situation?
I don't think Rodgers. He's not coming back. He's not. I mean, the Jets needed to run the table the rest of the way for the whole Rodgers thing to kind of work out. They lost to Atlanta, in that first game. They come away with a win here against the Texans, but I think they got Miami next week. I think the Jets play Miami. And I think it might be in Miami, if I'm not mistaken either. So I don't really have high hopes for that at all. At all. No. No.
You hit on your Broncos plus 2.5 in that game, and
dude,
they won outright. They won outright there. Obviously, I think the situation with Herbert going out helps that, but you'll take a win. I mean, that was like the right call, I think, either way. Even if Herbert's in that game, they came out strong, did Denver, and they looked like the better team even when Herbert was in there. But when he goes out, that definitely helps things.
I'll tell you what, and this is something for you guys out there. If you listen to me on Sirius XM and you listen to me here on this show, and you read my stuff, over at fantasyalarm.com, you can hear me talking about the games, and I'll talk about all the games for crying out loud. And I do. When I talk about betting, and certain games, you have to be able to hear when I am like, without me having to be like, and my best bet of the week is this. I mean, maybe I might have to do that, but I spoke about this Broncos Chargers game everywhere and was in on it so much. Like I bet more on the Broncos getting with the points, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams, props. Like I was so in and locked in on this game that you guys have to, you have to be able to like discern all of that. And I'm not saying go out there and take notes, but if you're tailing somebody in the industry, you'll get where, they really come off as like the most confident and where they don't come off as confident. Like there are picks here. I missed on Lions Bears on the over 43 Servo.
Yeah.
I mean, and I missed on Justin Fields 61.5 rushing yards by like 3 yards on that. I mean,
yeah, barely
picks that I'm making, but those aren't picks. Like I was like, standing on a freaking soapbox, just shouting about the Broncos and Joe Lombardi and what's going on with the offense right now and showing up the Chargers.
Yeah, and you hit on, as you said, you hit on the Javonte Williams anytime touchdown in that game, and you hit on the Cortland Sutton receiving yards prop in that game. So
I also had Cortland Sutton anytime touchdown, but I didn't like broadcast it. That was just another bet that I made personally on the game.
Yeah, that was like minus 140 or something, but you thought that was a little too obvious to give out.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I put it in with like, if I'm parlaying something, I was using that to parlay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what game I was confident about, and it did not end up that way. And then we both had picks in this game. That was Bills Chiefs. I had the over. I had Josh Allen's rushing yards over. I think he finished 2 yards to the under in that one, which was tough to see. But I had the over in this game, and you had Chiefs on the other side. Let's just get into this because, the way it was trending, I thought this over was coming. Especially, I thought it was just going to kind of go back and forth late, them trading scores. Let's talk about how this game ended with the Chiefs side of things. I'm sure you guys have seen the highlight. You've heard about what happened here with Kadarius Toney lining up offsides on that Travis Kelce throwback touchdown to Toney to give them the lead, but it was wiped off the board, and the Chiefs ultimately lost to the Bills. But
Jesus, Servo, why don't you kick me in the groin too?
Well, listen,
I got some paper cuts. You want to pour lemon juice into them? God, you're being so mean to anybody who's on the Chiefs side of things.
Well, listen, no matter what we had betting wise in this game, I want to hear your thoughts on this because there's basically two sides to it. People that think, the ref shouldn't have called that. The Chiefs are wronged in this. After the game, you got Mahomes and Andy Reid both complaining about the call and all that. The other side of it is that, which I'm on, even though, I would have loved another touchdown there because I also thought the Chiefs would win this, had them in my, my pick'em pool that I do off the side. Is that the fact that Toney did line up offsides? You got to call that. I mean, it's just it was a penalty. I know they don't call that every single play, every single game, but you can't get away from that fact. So I don't know. What's your thought on that?
I have many thoughts about this.
Okay,
I really do. And I mean, the first thing that popped into my head was in Remember the Titans. When Denzel Washington's like, he's offsides. He's lining up offsides, right? Like at the end, he's just like ripping the ref about it. I'm like, that must have been Sean McDermott the entire time to get this ref to make this call. But did you ever think, and, shout out to my conspiracy theorists out there, but do you ever think that this is just some of the most ridiculously scripted sort of a thing? the whole focus, they've been focusing on this one referee crew, right? And you've seen the articles on ESPN and Fox Sports. The articles are everywhere saying that, this crew is being investigated for a number of, bad calls, basically, or wrong calls made, in a game. Oh, this crew is officiating in, the Texans Jets game this week. Right. So now all of a sudden, it's all eyes on Jets Texans in New York and, waiting to see if the refs do anything. And it's the ref from the Chiefs Bills game who suddenly who makes this call? What? He's supposed to make the call. It's his job to make that call. You can't make that call. You can't choose to make a call situationally. The rule is the rule is the rule. And that's it. And if he's lined up off sides and the ref sees it. Now, sometimes maybe the refs aren't looking for it. Okay, fine. But if the ref specifically sees it, then he has to make that call. And that's just the way it is. The problem is, Patrick Mahomes' anger should have all been focused on Kadarius Toney and his receiving core. And you know what? And maybe on management for not getting him another receiver to replace Tyreek Hill. This isn't the Patriots with Tom Brady recycling, Julian Edelman 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, Wes Welker, these guys. That's not what Mahomes, Mahomes needs somebody. So his ire should be on his receivers right now because Kadarius Toney is a schmuck. He's a loudmouth and he's a showboat. And so to have this kind of thing is ridiculous. That's a mental mistake that you cannot make at this level, especially in the 2-minute drill. That's terrible. So dropped passes, that's where Mahomes should be mad. Anybody out there, listen, you want to be mad at the ref for making that call because not every ref makes that call? It's fine. You can go ahead and blame the refs. I don't blame the ref. He saw it. He made the call. I blame Kadarius Toney, for being the guy who lined up like an idiot. It's so blatant. It's crazy how blatant it is. That should be instinct. Mom never signed the permission slip, all right? Nervous Jewish mother wouldn't let me play football growing up. So I never, played the actual game. But I can only imagine that if you've made it to the NFL as a receiver, when you line up, one of the first things you do is look over where the ball is. Ball's right there. I'm lined up here, right? Isn't that what you're trained to do from moment one? So that's whose fault it is. I will not blame the officiating in any way, shape, or form. I blame Kadarius Toney. He's a piece of garbage.
Well, yeah, on that note, the highest level of football I ever played was high school. And I did play receiver in high school. And one of the things that's just always stuck with me, especially when we get something like this, or when you get, not enough players lined up on the line of scrimmage, an illegal formation thing, was that I remember we were taught, and every game you had to do it. If you line up and you're on the line of scrimmage, you point over and check with the ref on the sideline, and he'll tell you, move back a little bit or move up a little bit to make sure if you're on, then you're definitely on the scrimmage, or if you're a little bit ahead, move back a foot, and they'll give you that help because they don't want to call that, a ticky-tack foul like that. So, I see that, and looking back at all the replays and stuff, it's, Kadarius Toney was just looking right at the ball, and even that, he should know, he could see he's close enough to the ball. He's not all the way on the outside. He's close enough that he could see that he's lined up, a line, a yard off the scrimmage. But even, he didn't check with the ref on the other side. I'm sure he would have told him, move back a little bit. But yeah, I do find it funny, as an Eagles fan, all Eagles fans will remember the phantom, whatever, it might have been a penalty, but the pass interference holding call at the Super Bowl, which, the Chiefs got and didn't give the Eagles a chance at the end of the game, and basically allowed them to run up the clock and then kick a game-winning field goal. But I find it funny that the Chiefs are complaining about a call here when that call pretty much gifted them the Super Bowl win. So whatever.
Oh my God. That was the most vomitous take I've ever heard in my life. That was
was it?
Why didn't you turn your Eagles hat around? Why didn't you show an Eagles logo with it? I'm sitting here talking about this from like a perspective of like who's at fault here, and you're like, yeah, Chiefs, you
Super Bowl
got
hat
it now.
is on here, so there we go.
How's it taste now, Kansas City? Like, come on. I lost freaking money on this, man. I had the Chiefs minus 1.5, dude. Got screwed.
Well, listen, we are on the same page here overall. I just want to make that clear.
I tell you what, man. So this week, underdogs coming into tonight's dual Monday Night Football action. Underdogs are 8-4-1 against the spread this week. 6 of those 8 have won outright.
Wow. I'll tell you one that didn't was my Eagles last night against the Cowboys.
Oh, I would think that you would not want to talk Eagles as much as you want to talk Eagles here. Yeah, dude. I mean, listen, the Cowboys are 7-0 at home, 6-1 against the spread at home. They are like, you guys are all gift wrapping them home field advantage in the playoffs soon. You guys better be careful.
Well, if you look at both of our remaining schedules, then it favors the Eagles there to finish up the regular season a lot stronger. I think the Cowboys have to face the Bills, Lions, and Dolphins, I think, left on their schedule. And the Eagles have 2 games against the Giants and a game against the Cardinals. So it does favor them. I mean, listen, the Eagles over the last 2 weeks, I've never thought like a 10-win team like this and, reigning like NFC champ team like the Eagles would make me this depressed as a fan because of how bad these 2 games have gone against the top tier of the league. So this is rough. Mile High Luke in the chat here, he's got a few comments here talking about this Chiefs Bills game. Said, could not agree more with Bender is one of his comments here. And for the record, just saw a video and Tony even checks with the ref on the offsides. Okay. I was wrong then about that. So the ref should have told him to move back a step.
Right. I mean, if he checked with the ref who threw the flag, then now I need to Mile High Luke. You know what? At RotoBuzzGuy on Twitter, RotoBuzzGuy@gmail.com. I need to see that video. I need to see him check with the ref who throws the flag.
He looked away pretty quick, though, is what Luke says.
Maybe
the ref told him to move up, and the guy just, nope.
Listen, you know what? Mile High Luke, listen, I just got brand new stuff, so I'm feeling your vibe right now, but before I take on any more commentary there, I need to see this video presented to me. I need to be able to see it with mine own eyes before I can accept that the ref was just like, oh, no. And then he threw a flag anyway.
By the way, in that game, I had Rashee Rice anytime touchdown, which was good to see because Rice is. You're talking about, the Chiefs need someone to replace Tyreek Hill. Rashee Rice is that guy, I think, for years to come now. He is legit. And I remember back when he got drafted.
They need somebody else.
They do need another guy. But I remember when he got drafted on our draft show, me, Coop, I think you too, we were all saying, like, this guy's, he's going to be a possible Rookie of the Year candidate. He's a great addition for this Chiefs offense, and it's really coming to fruition. He's, the rest, Tony, Valdez-Scantling, obviously Watson is not performing, but Rice is the guy that's quickly earned some trust from Mahomes outside of Travis Kelce. So
I love Rashee Rice, and I even Rashee Rice was the guy who I was on in the in the preseason, like when we were talking about like who were those late round guys we were going after. Rashee Rice and Jalen Hyatt were like my 2 guys, and I was going after the both of them. And so I get it, man. Your Rashee Rice call was great. You know what else? Your Isaiah Likely over 34.5 receiving yards. That hit. And listen, I was all in on Likely. I had him on the cover of the DFS watch list at Fantasy Alarm. I was in on this prop. for you. The anytime touchdown prop for Isaiah Likely, I bet that. And I told everybody, like, there's even a SiriusXM audiogram on Twitter about me saying that Likely is the guy you want. And that game gave me the craziest agita, dude. That was the biggest roller coaster of emotions I think I have ever been on in the betting world. Like, I've had bet sweats before, but this one here was extra big for me. My friend's survivor pool. I'm very emotionally invested in my friend's survivor pool. So
we will have to revisit your friend's survivor pool on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday show.
Week wraps up tonight, right?
We'll get a little bit more clarity on what's happening there. So
yeah. But my friend had the Ravens, so of course I was watching that game, cheering them on, sending them all the good vibes. What an emotional roller coaster, Servo. It was crazy. Do you remember, like, I'll bring back a little more Remember the Titans. Maybe I watched it last night after all the games were over and my wife went to sleep because it was like, it just felt that way. After that game, you remember when they win at the end and Gary Bertier from his bed, his hobbled legs that don't work anymore, and he's like,
yeah. I remember that.
That's how the Ravens game culminated for me. Like, you want a little slice of Howard Bender emotion. That's how invested I am in my friends.
You're just sitting on the couch.
No, I was in this chair from start to finish. Like, this is where my morning starts. And then when the games go on, I've got a monitor here, a monitor there. I've got a TV, so that put the TV up above over here. I put that onto Red Zone. I got, like, stupid YouTube streaming 4 boxes on each screen. Dude, this is like it. And then I sat there the entire time like this. staring at the Ravens game.
Staring right at it. All right, let's get to some Monday Night Football here. And if you have your own bets or picks, props that you want to throw in our YouTube chat here, definitely do that because we want to see where you guys are landing and where we're aligned, where we're disagreeing on some of these bets and picks. Let's start with Titans Dolphins. Again, we got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight, both kicking off at the same time too, 8:15 Eastern. But let's start with Titans Dolphins now. I'll go first. We'll go back and forth here, but I like the Dolphins minus the 13.5. And, it's at 14 some places, but I think you get down to the 13.5, make sure it's a 2 touchdown win, hopefully, for the Dolphins here. Just looking at their season this year, we've talked about it before, but they win comfortably against the bad or average teams. They've struggled against good teams, but when they're in these spots, especially, it's a big spread, but they're 4-1 against the spread at home this year, which I think is huge for this matchup. But when they're favored by more than a touchdown, they're 5-1 against the spread this season. And 6 of their last 7 wins have come by at least 2 touchdowns. So I think this spread is not too big for me. I just don't see how the Titans offensively keep pace with this high-flying Dolphins attack, especially since Tennessee has struggled against the pass. They're a lot better against the run, but they've struggled against the pass, which I think is just asking for trouble in this spot against Tua, Tyreek, Waddle. I mean, this offense is rolling. They're coming off of a blowout win over the Commanders. Again, covering a big spread easily in that one. Won comfortably the game before against the Jets. So this is not a unique situation for them to be favored big, and especially at home here. I think they're going to show out. And the Titans this year struggled on the road. 1-5 against the spread on the road this season are the Titans. And as underdogs this year, their last 6 games as dogs, they're 1-5 against the spread too. So I know, like, there's been the overall view. I've pointed out in the past where Vrabel as an underdog, he's got some really good career against the spread numbers as a dog, but this is tough. I know the Titans too are coming off a bye, but the Dolphins, as I said, they just blew out the Commanders, where the second half the starters could kind of rest a little bit. It was kind of like a mini bye for them, only playing about half a game, up to the speed that they need. So I think Dolphins, they're also looking to keep pace with Baltimore, getting for the 1 seed in the conference. I think they're going to want to ball out here. So give me the Dolphins against the spread here.
I mean, listen, I like that. I like that pick a lot. Mile High Luke, tweet at me so I know your handle and I'll give you a follow, and then you can message me this illustrious video. And my friend says thank you to Austin Battle as well. So I wrote this game up for over at fantasyalarm.com. You guys can go check out everything there. I've even got some props over there that I'm not going to give out here. How about that? Let me make you go to the article. In the meantime, though, let me just kind of say that I like the Dolphins and I like laying the points in this game as well. I like the over in this, right? It's 45. This game, to me, this has got like 34-17 or 34-14 type vibes. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, this Dolphins team, you were giving out all that data. They've been favored by in double digits, a double-digit point favorite 3 times this year, all at home. They're 2-1 in those games against the spread, with that lone Raiders game being the one that didn't happen for them. So I like you laying the points, and I'm going to take the over at 45. And I'll just give you my first prop here right now. And say I'm taking Tua Tagovailoa over 22.5 completions. It's minus 125 at BetMGM. It's just a nice little stable prop. You don't run against the Titans, you throw against the Titans. That's what their defense is terrible. Their run defense is solid. Their pass defense is their Achilles heel. So I think what we see is just some strong precision from Tua. Yeah, they'll try to bang out the run a little bit early on, but to me, I think that Mike McDaniel's just going to let Tua do his thing, Waddle, Tyreek, make it happen. So that's where I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa over 22.5 completions.
Yeah, I like his completions prop more than his yards too, because he does tend to have some of the shorter completions. I know, like, obviously you can hit deep ones to Waddle or Hill, but we've seen a little bit more, just easier completions from him this year to get him comfortable under center. I'll go to the Titans side of things here. Got a couple props here. They're kind of correlated, but the first one is Derrick Henry under 13.5 rushing attempts. I just think how this game is going to go. The game script is going to be negatively, for Henry and the run game overall for Tennessee. Going back, I think early on, the Titans will try to establish the run and try to keep it slower with Henry, and maybe he gets, some early carries for sure. But I think once the Dolphins get, a couple touchdowns, maybe they're up by double digits, it's just going to force the Titans to throw more. It's going to force them to try to keep pace, and especially in the second half. If it is, a double-digit lead, which I think it will be, then I think it's just taken away Henry's, snaps, but carries overall. Obviously, Tajay Spears is going to be involved there. But looking back this season, when the Dolphins, when they've won so they have 6 double-digit wins this year. And in those games, all but one lead ball carrier, so 5 of 6, has been held under this prop, where, it's usually around like 10, 11 rushing attempts for lead ball carriers against the Dolphins when they've been winning by, multiple scores. So I know Henry is a kind of a different, vibe than other lead guys, but I still think his carry is going to be limited. And then looking at the Titans side of things, in their 8 losses this year, Henry's been held under this line, 13.5 rushing attempts in 5 of 8 games. And he's been held to less than 13.5 carries in all 5 Tennessee losses that have been by at least a touchdown. So just kind of both these trends matching up here for Henry's carries to be limited overall in this game. And then, the same thing is, I mentioned Tajay Spears, he's still taking away carries and snaps, but he's the better, passing down, pass catching back out of the backfield, change of pace guy compared to Henry. And I feel like in the second half, he's going to be out there a lot more. So I'm taking the over on his receptions, over 2.5 receptions on BetMGM. It's plus money, which I like, plus 115 on BetMGM. But this year, the line is just low, even if you don't think the game script's going to go that way, because Spears has at least 3 catches in 4 of the last 6 games and 7 of the last 10 games. So as the season's gone on, he's just, the rookie's been used more, especially, Titans are losing a bunch of games. So we see him out there more often when they are trailing and in passing situations. So, yeah, give me Spears over 2.5 catches here.
I mean, I could definitely dig that. Will Levis, I thought it was weird. I looked for that also. I thought it was weird that it was plus money for 2.5 receptions.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been burned by that before, and it's like I get my 2 receptions from my running back. It's just a matter of whether or not Will Levis can, is going to be looking downfield. I like the fact that there's a good enough pass rush that he could get rushed and kind of just check it down a little bit more because, I mean, again, the way I see this game going, I see, Miami, hitting them early, kind of break it open a little bit. But by the middle of the third quarter, this game is well in hand and Miami just starts rolling and, whatever. And so Tennessee's like in passing catch-up mode for most of the way there, which is why I've got Chigakonkwo. How about my guy Okonkwo? Over 33.5 receiving yards for him. I got it for -110 at BetMGM. Okonkwo, I mean, listen, Miami, I think they ranked like 23rd or 22nd in DVOA against the tight end, giving up an average of 46 yards, receiving yards per game to the position. So I know that Okonkwo is not the only tight end, but his average depth of target has definitely increased in the time since Will Levis took over, and they're utilizing him, much more in there. So I figure if I can, if I'm shooting for 13 yards under the average here, I feel pretty good about that. So I took Okonkwo over 33.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, it was him and Spears I was looking at for receiving props here, overs at least, and I think like Hopkins will probably be pretty limited going up against Jalen Ramsey too. So that just kind of adds probably more targets and easier completions for Levis to, Okonkwo at tight end, Spears out of the backfield, hopefully. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I love how we both see this game similarly because I was going back and forth. I was like, could the Titans actually keep this one tighter and lower scoring? But I think the Dolphins are gonna run here.
I do too. I mean, listen, looking at what it's all been, and like I said, it's like 8-4-1 underdogs with 6 winning outright. That trend can be maintained tonight with the 2 games because, fine, let Miami win, cover their spread. They're just, it's just their offense is just too good. Like there are just certain offenses, you look at it and you're like, okay, it's like the San Francisco offense, the Dallas offense. You've got, here with the with the Miami Dolphins. These are teams that are really capable of running up the score without even really trying to run up the score. So, when I have that there, I'm like, okay, that's fine because now let's talk Giants and Packers here because this is where I think we start finding that trend, and I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm Giants +6 tonight. Giants are going to cover this spread, right? I don't know if the Giants win this game outright, but the Giants are definitely covering the spread in this one because I just, this is one of those games. All sorts of, everybody's looking at Jordan Love right now and the streak that he's on. And you're starting to hear people like, they're like, yeah, Favre, Rodgers, Love, right? You're starting to get all that kind of like hype there. Now you're getting some hype from the Giants with Tommy DeVito and the whole, hey, yo, Tommy DeVito, right? Tommy Cutlets. That's what we're all having for dinner tonight, right? And so, but for me, it's like Tommy DeVito, like he knows that he's already on borrowed time. The Giants have nothing to lose in this game. So there's no pressure on Tommy DeVito or the Giants. There's pressure on Jordan Love because now he's supposed to deliver. There's no Aaron Jones to fall back on. And you see the way that, not having Aaron Jones changes the dynamic of this offense a little bit because A.J. Dillon's not a strong pass blocker, not a strong pass blocking running back for that matter, or good pass catcher even. So, I could see this one here, Giants defense, it's prime time, blah, 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 blah. It's the legendary Packers coming to town. It's in Giant, MetLife Stadium. So Giants +6, baby. Let's do it.
If I was going to pick a side, I think it would be on the Giants for sure. And
you should sprinkle a little something on the money line too for them, I think. I'm just saying.
Should I?
I'm just saying.
They're a live dog here. Well, so I agree with you on the Packers side of things. I think their offense could hit a little bit of some struggles here on the road, especially they're coming off these back-to-back big wins over the Lions and Chiefs. Maybe just a slight letdown against the lesser opponent here. And it still is a young rookie. I say rookie because it's his first year starting, but Jordan Love on the road in a spot here, and I got the under in this game, under 37. The first instance with the Packers was that I think their offense, especially without the explosive big play threat of Christian Watson, who's out here for the Packers, and then Aaron Jones, he's so he got reports that he's not likely to play. It was kind of it was questionable, but looks like he will be out. Just the fact that both of them being out, it's just a lot less explosiveness for this Packers offense. What's going to see a lot of AJ Dillon rumbling for the offense, but just in general, the downfield threat of Watson isn't there. And then the Giants side of things, I know Tommy DeVito's playing on borrowed time, going to try out and make some plays, but I still think they're going to come in with a run-focused game plan with Saquon to try to limit, the interceptions or turnovers from DeVito. It just points to under, and then some interesting, other vibes outside of the head-to-head matchup here. We've talked about it all year long. Primetime unders. I mean, this is I've been looking. I was like, all right, is it going to be the Dolphins Titans game, or is it going to be this one that I'm going to go under? And it's definitely this one because like this year, about 70% are these primetime games going under. And then games with a total
13-2 Monday Night Football. 13-2
Monday Night Football
under.
Specifically. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then games with a total at 37 or below over the last 4 years are about 80% to the under too. That's an interesting trend. And then the other factor here is that this is going to be, a colder weather game. It's going to be temperatures in like the 30s with a wind chill too. We got 10-mile-per-hour winds expected. So, I know the Packers are used to this, but it's just going to be one of those cold, grinded out games. And I got the under.
As you should, Servo, and I agree with you that as great of a cult icon as Tommy DeVito is, and we love you, Tom. It's got to go through Saquon Barkley. It's what makes sense. The Packers, the Packers' run defense has long been an Achilles heel. I mean, that's just been one of the things. We know this from fantasy. You target against the Packers, and against the run. They rank 22nd in DVOA against the run. They're giving up the third most rushing yards per game in the league, and they've allowed 11 rushing touchdowns. So if you're not locking and loading on Saquon Barkley, I don't know what you're doing. It's kind of funny, man. I was like, I was looking at these props, and I'm like, do I want to do rushing and receiving with Barkley because he does both? But then I was looking and the rushing yards was down at like 69.5. And I was like, ooh, you know what? Just give me the rushing because that's fine. Like, I mean, with the volume that he's going to get, because I think that's, if that's my narrative is that the Giants, these two teams kind of slug it out early on, and it's going to be low scoring in that first half. And you're going to see a lot of Barkley. The Giants are going to try and have these long sustained drives. They're not going to be, it's not Tommy DeVito chucking a ball downfield. No, it's not what that is. They know that. So, again, so there it is. So Saquon Barkley over 69.5 rushing yards per game. I got that from -120 on BetMGM. And then just to show you that I don't hate Green Bay. I love Green Bay, actually. Jaden Reed over 46.5 receiving yards. I'm very much in on him. I think he's a fantastic player. I couldn't find his rushing and receiving yards because I feel like this is the type of game where Jaden Reed gets that like Deebo Samuel rushing touchdown. Like we've seen him get that before. And I think I might have said something on a show at some point. I think it was Alarm Fantasy Football where I said Jaden Reed was going to get a rushing touchdown this week. So I didn't take his anytime touchdown. I'm just taking his receiving yards. No Christian Watson, over 46.5 for me. It's minus 115 of BetMGM.
Over on BetMGM, Jaden Reed rushing plus receiving is at 49.5.
Oh, no way. That's beautiful because they know that like once they get in on like the 2-yard line, they're going to do it. And like all of a sudden he's going to be in there. I'll just take my over the receiving yards. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
There you go. Well, on that same note, with Christian Watson being out, I'm also going to Packers receiver here. And I looked at Reed for sure. Looked at Romeo Doubs. I'm going Dontavian Wicks, though. And I think this line is just a little low, over 31.5 receiving yards. Because even with Watson, with the healthy over these last few games, Wicks has at least 40 receiving yards in 4 straight games coming into this week. And earlier this year, when Watson was out, we saw the Packers run with Wicks as the other outside receiver with him and Doubs, Jaden Reed more of the slot. But Wicks gets a definite direct, beneficiary of Watson being out, getting those starting outside wide receiver snaps, was playing about 60% of the snap share back at the beginning of the season. And that was when, he's a rookie. That was when he was first getting used to the offense. But in those first 3 games, he had at least 40 receiving yards in 2 of those 3 with Watson out. So I think this really points to him, being more involved. He's also had 4+ targets in 5 straight games. He's more fitting the mold of replacing Watson, 1-to-1 because he's more of a downfield guy. He can get one of those longer completions from Love that used to be Watson. So, even if he isn't getting too many targets, this 31.5 is pretty low for a guy that can go over it in probably 2 catches. So, give me the over on Dontavian Wicks here. But I like your Jaden Reed call. That was one I looked at for sure. And, he's guy. I was looking at his receptions too, but I think it was a little too high for me. But he's going to get a lot of targets.
Really? You thought the 3.5 was too high?
Was it gone down? I thought it was at 4.5.
Oh, no, I got it at 3.5 on BetMGM this morning at plus 120.
Oh, it is at 3.5. Maybe I looked at someone else and saw 4.5, but I would look at the over there. Yeah, I like the over.
Well, I mean, because like you were saying, he's had at least 3 catches in his last 6 straight games. So that, that's been with Christian Watson in there. So without Christian Watson, like you said, come on. Can I get that? Can I get that 4, please? Give me that 4 for Dontavian Wicks. All right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Romeo Doubs. You like the over on Wicks's catches.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like Wicks's receptions there.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm looking right now. Yeah, it's 3.5 BetMGM. It's plus 125.
Oh, you were talking about Doubs this whole time? I thought you were talking about your Dontavian Wicks receiving yards prop.
No, I was talking about that, but I thought you were talking about Dobbs's catches.
No, I got
sorry, there's too many receivers we're talking about. I thought you were talking about Jaden Reed's catches.
No. I was talking about Dontavian Wicks. I was talking about your boy.
Nino Pena on YouTube here. You guys believe Aaron Jones is playing? I do not.
I do not.
Yeah, I think there was a report saying he's not likely to play. So he's trended towards being out. But we'll see. The inactives come out about 90 minutes before kick. So stay tuned for that to see if he is for sure out. But yeah, I think we're going to see him out. A lot of A.J. Dillon in this game too, if you want to look at any of his props. All right, so that's Packers Giants. We gave out bets for both Monday Night Football games. Should be awesome to watch both these. Coming up after us, Bettor Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm YouTube's. Check out the Thursday game day preview with John and Pemba and Andrew Cooper, 7 p.m. Eastern. Or sorry, this would be that's Thursday. Got it all mixed up, but I know tonight we got the Bettor cast for Monday Night Football for both these games, so you can check that out tonight. for Monday Night Football. But I think right after us at 5 p.m. Eastern, we do have the NBA DFS live show with Impemba and James Grande. So if you want to get some NBA action. All right, that's about it for us. We'll be back tomorrow here on Bettor Sports Betting, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Me and Howard will be back on Wednesday's show, talking some early leans for next football. But we gotta wrap up Week 14 first. So hopefully we all cash some bets tonight for Monday Night Football. Good luck to you, Howard. Good luck to everyone's picks out there, and we'll talk to you guys later.